In this lesson, we are going to express one quantity as a percentage of the other quantity. But we're going to look at situations where we don't have conversions. When expressing quantity A as a percentage of quantity B, you may use the following formula. You say quantity A over quantity B times 100% over 1. Right? Let me stress this point. The percent here, we treat it like a unit. We just write it, but it is not involved in the calculations. Just treat it like a unit when you're doing calculations with units, like with centimeters, meters, and all those things. All right. Express the following as percentages: 20 marks out of 25 marks. So we're expressing 20 marks as a percentage of 25 marks. So 20 marks is quantity A and 25 marks is quantity B. So we'll say 20 over 25 times 100% over 1. Remember, I said percentage sign, we just write it. It is not involved in the calculations. And then here, what can we do? Remember, we can divide across if you want, but also here 20 and 25, there's a highest common factor, which is 5. So we can divide 20 divided by 5 is 4. Then 25 divided by 5 is 5. Right? Now we can also cancel across. We can say 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 10, 2. 0 divided by 5 is 0. So we remain with 20. And then if we check what we remain with, at the numerators, we have 4 times 20% over 1 times 1. Okay, which is 1. 4 times 20% is going to be 80%. So I'm just showing you how this percentage sign is used. Don't involve it in the calculations. So in the next calculations, I won't be writing it. Okay, I'll just use the 100 over 1. Now here we could have said also 20 over 25 times 100 over 1. We could have said 25 into 25, 1. 25 into 100, 4. Then 20 times 4, which is 80 over 1. Therefore, this is 80%. That's another way of doing it. And then we have 5 rand out of 50 rand. So we're expressing 5 rand as a percentage of 50 rand. So it's going to be 5 over 50 rand. Okay, 5 over 50 times 100 over 1. We know that 100 is 400%. Right? So we can simplify our fraction first, or we can divide by 10 first. That's the easiest one. So divide by 10, divide by 10. We're left with 5 over 5, which is 1, then times 10 over 1. So we're left with 1 over 1 times 10 over 1. And our answer is going to be 10%. So 5 rand out of 50 rand. So it means 5 rand is 10% of 50 rand. 3 rand out of 60 rand. Again, we're expressing 3 rand as a percentage of 60 rand. So it's going to be 3 over 60 times 100 over 1. You can divide by 10 here, divide by 10, divide by 10. If you check 3 and 6, we have the highest common factor, which is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then you can say 2 into 2, 1. Then 2 into 10, 5. And then what are we left with? We're left with 1 over 1 times 5 over 1, which is 5%. Remember, we're calculating percentage, so don't forget to write your percent in the final answer. And then now, 15 girls out of 25 learners. So we're expressing the number of girls as a percentage of the total number of learners. So it's going to be 15 out of 25 times 100 over 1. Then we can divide here. There's a common factor between, there's the highest common factor between 25 and 100, which is 25. 25 into 25, 1. 25 into 100, 4. And then what are we left with? At the numerators, we have 15 times 4. At the denominators, we have 1 times 1, which gives us 15 times 4, which is 60%. So the percentage of girls in this class is 60%. What would be the percentage of boys? Let me ask that question. If the percentage of girls is 60%, what would be the percentage of boys? The whole class is 100%. Now to calculate the percentage of boys, you say 100% minus 60%. That will give you 40%. Okay, so this will be for boys. But our answer for this question is 60%. A school is a total of 80 grade 7 learners. 48 of them are girls. Determine the percentage of girls in the school. We are expressing the number of girls as a percentage of the total number of grade 7 learners. So it's going to be 48 over 80 times 100 over 1. Then we can divide by 10 first. That's the easiest one. Divide by 10, divide by 10. Then we can say now 8 into 8, 1. 8 into 48, 6. And then what are we left with? We're left with 6 times 10 at the numerators, 1 times 1 at the denominators. Then 6 times 10 is 60, so this is 60%. So the percentage of girls in this grade is 60%. Determine the percentage of boys in this school. So I'm going to show you two ways of doing this. We can start by calculating the number of boys. If there are 48 girls out of 80 grade 7s, so what's the number of boys? We say number of boys is equal to 80 minus 48. Then 80 minus 48 is what? 80 minus 48 is 32. So it means there are 32 boys out of 80 grade 7 learners. So expressing the number of boys as a percentage of the grade 7 learners. So it's 32 out of 80 times 100 over 1. Then you can divide by 10, divide by 10. Then 8 into 8, 1. 8 into 32, 4. And then what are we left with? At the numerators, we're left with 4 times 10 over 1 times 1. 4 times 10 over 1 times 1, which is 40%. And then I said that if the percentage of girls is 60%, what would be the percentage of boys? That's another method. From here, you can say therefore, percentage of boys is equal to 100% minus 60%, which is 40%. So that's another way of doing it. You can do this activity, and then after that, we're going to mark our work. All right, let's do question 1. What percentage of 80 rand is 8 rand? Let's try to understand that. What percentage of 80 rand is 8 rand? So we're expressing 8 rand as a percentage of 80 rand. Okay, so we say 8 divided by 80, that's quantity A over quantity B, times 100 over 1. Then divide by 10, divide by 10, right? 8 into 8, 1, 8 into 8, 1. So what are we left with? We're left with 1 over 1 times 10 over 1, right? Which is 10%. So it means 8 rand is 10% of 80 rand. Jabu invested 1,000 rand, and by the end of a year, he earned 100 rand interest. By what percentage did his investment grow? So his investment grew by 100 rand. Okay, it means it increased by 100 rand. So what is this 100 rand as a percentage of 1,000? You see that? Okay, so it's 100 rand over 1,000, then times 100 over 1. Then we can divide here, divide by 10, 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 divide by 10. And then what are we left with? We're left with 10 times 1 at the top, then 1 times 1 at the bottom, which is 10%. This is still part of the activity. You can pause the video here and try these questions. In a bag of 40 marbles, 8 are green and the rest are red. Calculate the percentage of green marbles. So we have 8 green out of 40. So we're expressing 8 green marbles as a percentage of the total number of marbles. So it's 8 over 40 times 100 over 1. Then you can start by dividing by 10, cancel the 0, cancel the 0. And you can say 4 into 4, 1. 4 into 8, 2. And then what are we left with? We're left with 2 times 10 over 1 times 1, which is 20%. Right, now it says calculate the percentage of red marbles. We say the rest are red. So now we can do those two methods. First, let's find the number of red marbles. Number of red marbles is equal to 40 minus 8, meaning that is 32 red marbles. Right? So now we're expressing these 32 red marbles as a percentage of 40 marbles. So it's 32 over 40 times 100 over 1. Divide by 10, divide by 10. Then divide by 4, 4 into 1, 1, 4 into 32, 8. And then we're left with 8 times 10 at the top, the numerators, 1 times 1 at the denominators, then 8 times 10, that is 80%. Or we could have said the percentage of the green marbles is 20%. Therefore, percentage of red marbles. The total marbles is 100%. So the percentage of red marbles will be 100%. We're using this 100% minus 20%, which is 80%. You see, we're getting the same answer. These are the last questions for the activity. You can also pause the video here and try them before I show you. Right, let's do this together. In the grade 7 class, 36 of the 60 learners are boys. What percentage of the class are girls? We have to be careful here then. Right? In the grade 7 class, 36 of the 60 learners are boys. What percentage of the class are girls? So we have to find the number of girls first. So if say number of girls is equal to 60 minus 36. And then what is 60 minus 36? That is 24. So it means we have 24 girls. Now we can express these 24 girls as a percentage of 60 learners. So say 24 out of 60 times 100 over 1. Divide by 10. Divide by 10. Then 6 into 6, 1. 6 into 24 is 4. Then 4 times 10, we're left with 4 times 10 over 1 times 1, which is 40%. Right, the other thing we could have done, we could have managed to find the percentage of boys. We know that boys are 36, so we could have managed to find the percentage of boys and say 36 out of 60 times 100 over 1. Divide by 10, divide by 10, 6 into 6, 1, 6 into 36, 6, and then we're left with 6 times 10 over 1 times 1, which is 60%. And then the boys is 60%. So what will be the girls? Therefore, girls, percentage of girls is 100% minus 60%, which is equal to 40%. Okay. All right. And then the last question. What percentage of 2 kgs is 0.5 kgs? We want to express 0.5 kilograms as a percentage of 2 kilograms. So we say 0.5 over 2 times 100 over 1. So now the best thing to do here, get rid of the decimals. So what do I do? There's 0.5 here. To get rid of this, I have to multiply it by 10. So if I multiply the numerator by 10, I must multiply the denominator by 10. So we say times 10 here, then times 10 there. Then what are we left with? We have 5. If you multiply 0.5 by 10, get 5 over 20 times 100 over 1. So if you have decimals, get rid of the decimals. Remember, if there are 2 decimal places, you multiply by 100. If there are 3, you multiply by 1000. Okay? The number of decimal places will be equivalent to the number of zeros. Like here we have 1 decimal place, that's why we use 10. Now, we have a nice fraction here that we can work with. So we divide by 10, divide by 10. Then 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 10 is 5. And then what are we left with? We're left with 5 times 5 over 1 times 1, meaning that 0.5 kilograms is 25% of 2 kilograms, 25%.